Yawn. Let's talk about this mid-season premiere of Fear the Walking Dead. Before we get into it, I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dad. Obviously, we talk about The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead and all things related to The Walking Dead. But if you're a fan of podcasts in general, consider hitting that subscribe button. We podcast about a ton of different stuff. Coming up Wednesday, we're going to talk about this Epstein suicide, murder fiasco, and some interesting theories that JP stumbled onto. So you'll have to make sure you tune in Wednesday to catch those. And then we also talk about other current events and supernatural thing, all kinds of stuff. So we're just a podcast that kind of covers everything. So if you like listening to people run their mouth, consider sticking around. But without further ado, let's get into it. So this episode lost me the moment that woman started playing Convoy.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I hate that song. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I get why if you're a trucker or anything like that, you would. I get the relevance, but still, even in the end of the world, I don't want to hear that song.
That's just like '80s jingly pop country at its cringiest. You know,
it's so bad.
Got a great big house.
That sounds better than the original.
Yeah, dude. You want some good trucking music, just download some Jerry Reed and thank me later.
I feel bad, man, because like the trucking lady just gets on my nerves.
Yeah, I don't like her, man. I don't
care for her. It's just that whole character feels forced too. You know what I'm saying? Like It doesn't even feel like a genuine. I don't know. But so we get back into Fear the Walking Dead. JP and I have both been saying over the little 3-week break that we really hope they step it up, and we thought maybe the POV camera stuff was going to be cool, but it really wasn't. The coolest thing was watching John Dory like knock those zombies in the head from, way the hell away with them pistols. But, man, and now Morgan's teaching Alicia the stick moves because, of course, he has to. I'd be like, dude, the last 2 people you taught to use that stick died. So, just stop teaching people how to use a stick.
Yeah, dude, I was hoping the POV thing was going to be more than just like a video diary. You know what I mean? I mean,
and the whole he's badass with the stick loses its awesomeness when everybody can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like with Michonne and her sword. What's so cool about that is the fact that she's the only one out there wielding a katana, and she's badass. Like, yeah, people have used swords and stuff, but she's the only one. And Morgan just showing everybody how to be proficient with sticks, and it just loses I don't know.
He's coming off more and more like a cult leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I liked Morgan so much on The Walking Dead. Now that I don't really care for him on Fear, man. He's just, I don't know. And then we just watched an hour-long PSA.
Yeah, just they're doing like crisis intervention stuff, and for whatever reason, they're not going to go to the denim factory anymore, which seems like a pretty sweet locale. I mean, you need a command center. I would stuck with that, but
so I don't know.
And just left old homeboy that showed him about the gas refinery or whatever, just kicked his ass out on the road.
That was probably the end of the episode was pretty good, where Logan shows back up with his little gang of people and shoot up dude's motorcycle and all of that. But I mean, I was bored as hell, man. I mean, we spent half the episode in the landmine yard trying to get a lady to come out. And
she needed that inhaler, man. I mean, they couldn't have just, like, slingshotted it onto the porch, I guess. But she wouldn't even go out on the front porch.
No. I mean, I
don't even know, agoraphobic, I guess.
She said she hadn't been out of the house since since the world ended. Which that's a long time to not be out of your house.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, man. I dozed off when Morgan had his foot on that mine. I watched like the midnight replay. So how'd they get his foot off that mine without it blowing up?
Basically, it was a little pin that you like lift and you slide it in, and it stops the firing pin. But like he did it, they get off and walk away, and it blows up still.
Gotcha.
Somehow, because of course it does.
Did they get that girl out the house?
Yeah.
And what was she looking at? What's she doing? How'd she look?
I mean, tired.
Tired, right? She's tired of the show, too. Mm-hmm. It's her first episode. She's like,
you ain't dragging me outside to be on your shitty show.
Oh, this is so awful.
You said Rick Grimes was Maggie down here. I'll come out, but I've seen your show. I don't want to be on it.
And so Luciana's still alive?
Yeah.
I saw she was on the Talking Dead because I caught the end of that before the recap.
She's one of the camera people.
Right. Okay.
Her and Al are like manning the
She
cameras.
must have died. This must be a really great episode. But
This episode to me was just too cringy and cheesy, man. We have this tradition where we eat noodles around a fire. Come on.
Oh man, did I miss that too?
I did. Excuse my language. Did you? Did you watch any of it?
I did. I had a long little road trip. I got back to the house a little bit before midnight, and I was dozing a little bit, not because of the episode as much as just the fatigue, but the episode certainly didn't help much.
No, it didn't. I wasn't even that tired. I was struggling to stay awake.
Yeah.
Some cool things to note. Alicia did find that tree that had, if you're reading this, you're alive on it. Some people saying that could be a sign of Madison's return.
Oh, yeah, dude. I think she's coming back. It's great seeing Daniel back on the regular cast.
Yeah, and the banter, and it really felt like an episode of The Office at some parts. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I did enjoy, not to disparage the entire episode. Like, I like the chemistry a lot between Daniel and Dwight. I feel like they can relate on a lot of things. They've both done some screwed up stuff. They're both trying to find redemption. They've both lost someone in the sense of like been searching for someone. With Daniel, it was his daughter, and of course she didn't make it. And then for Dwight, he's looking for Sherry, which we don't know if he'll find her or not. But I like the little banter back and forth where Daniel keeps telling him, if you would just let me give you a haircut, I could make you look presentable. Like that was kind of in the beginning. So in the beginning of this, I was like, okay, we're getting some good chemistry between the actors and the characters. Like, okay, and then it just drug on. We spent I thought like when they were at the house of the landmines, that was going to just be like a little video. I didn't realize we were going to spend the majority of the episode there.
Yeah, man. I think Daniel doesn't realize that you kind of need long hair when half your face is all charred and mangled up, kind of hide that grotesqueness.
I mean, you've got Morgan, Dwight, and Daniel and Victor Strand, like four of the most interesting. And Alicia, I do like Alicia, but, I did. They just kind of written her kind of stupid this season, but... You've got some of the most interesting characters from the Walking Dead universe all together, and you're doing nothing with it. Nothing. Quit these rescue missions, man. Like, I really hope at the end of the episode, since you didn't quite catch it, this guy, he goes in and this guy was watching that tape, is what it was. So everything you were seeing, which I don't know how they edit in the zombie apocalypse. I have enough trouble doing it here in the regular world, but that was all a video to show, like, basically that we're not BSing. We genuinely want to help you. Here's the people that we've helped, yada, yada, yada. And, like, after watching all of that, you realize that a guy is watching that tape in a old gas station or something. And so he comes out and he's putting gas in his motorcycle, and that's when Logan and his people roll up. And I thought for a second they did one thing I did like, because, Logan... That it doesn't kill him, but he's like, ask him, does he know them or whatever? And he's like, man, I'm not with those people, And he's like, well, good. Call him. Basically, he's telling him he wants to use this guy to draw them out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Here they're on Channel 4 or whatever. But then they shoot up his like he goes, make sure he can't follow us. And one of them shoots the tire out. And he's like, oh, come on. Then they shoot the other tire out. And he's like, dude. Then they just light his motorcycle up, like just. And I was thinking, ammo's got to be hard to come by, right? But then he says as they leave, he goes, because we got more ammo or more bullets than we know what to do with. And they shoot in the air and they ride off. Apparently, he's got a stockpile of ammo.
Right. That's still pretty dumb. And I mean, seems like a motorcycle would be a good thing to have. They could have just jacked his motorcycle.
No, it had a sweet little sidecar on it. Can you see you and me in the apocalypse riding one? I'm driving the motorcycle. You're sitting in the sidecar.
I don't get on motorcycles, man. They're too dangerous.
You wouldn't be on a motorcycle. It'd be a sidecar. And it's not as dangerous because it's not being balanced. The sidecar balances it.
I don't get on no. That's part of my honor code. I don't get on no motorcycles.
There's no honor in not getting on motorcycles.
Well, for me, it is.
But, all right. So my question is, though, and maybe and this might be a dumb question. If it is, that's fine. I don't mind you making me feel stupid in the comment section. But how are they keeping these camera batteries charged and stuff? I mean, do they have, you think they're just charging them with the SWAT mobile? I mean, I know they probably got one of those converters they could probably plug in. I'm sure that thing puts out a lot of it has to take a lot of power to run.
Yeah, I think so. The guy at the end of the episode, was he watching it like on a camera or like plugged into a TV?
I think he was watching it on like a VCR or something. Be honest with you, I can't quite remember.
Did he enjoy the episode more than we did?
Probably. Yeah. And the only reason for that's because he got to be in it.
Yeah, and I would think your pickings are pretty slim when it comes to stuff to view, in the zombie apocalypse.
Oh yeah, he's probably like to him it was like sitting down and watching a movie.
Yep. Well, it's a shame he's just got to walk from now on. I don't know.
Logan shows his boots from where they left him or whatever, and he's walked however many miles, and his boots are all jacked up and stuff, and he's kind of got a limp. So Logan's out for revenge, which might lead to this show actually getting back to being good.
So did they go in much to why they just threw Logan to just abandoned him? Was he just a dick?
Because they just knew it was a crock of schnit.
But he didn't actually do anything. They were just like, this guy's a jerk.
I mean, he had screwed him over before, and now I don't know. I don't remember them saying he had done anything in particular to get left behind there. But
because what I remember, just like the trucker ladies, like yeah, not too long after we got the gas, we knew what he was about, and he said bye-bye.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I feel like they think he was up to something, but I don't know if we know exactly what it was.
Man, in those scenarios, man, you got a feeling like that. I'd have just put one in his head and left him, You can't just. How many times do they have to leave somebody?
Morgan wouldn't allow that, JP.
Later?
All life is precious, even the ones who continuously try to kill us. And no matter how many times I talk them into being a good person, they keep coming back to kill us. For some reason, my character hasn't been written to start understanding that just don't work for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's like that one wolf guy came back and kind of did something good in his final days, and Morgan's like, "See, I told you, people can be reformed."
As much as I want to love this show, dude, it's getting hard. It's getting painful. And I'm getting sleepy as I watch it.
I'm getting sleepy talking about it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. What do they need to do to right the ship?
Just start giving us some good drama. I mean, it's like I'm tired of the rescue missions. And two, they linger on stuff entirely too long. This is seasons 7 and 8 of The Walking Dead all over again. Just in the sense of when they get onto something, they drag it out as long as they can. It's like they have no creativity in their writing room. So they come up with, like, this whole airplane BS with these kids. It's like an episode or two.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, it was the entire first half of the season.
Yeah.
And it was so stupid and so slow. And I'm sorry if you love the show, but it just was unnecessary. It's like they were like, all right, we got to keep people somewhat entertained till the walking. I don't know why the writers have the same country accents as the characters in the scenario, but they're just like, we got to keep these people entertained at least somewhat till the Walking Dead comes back on. What we got? Well, let's have them crash a plane.
Yeah.
And then they just stayed on that, man. I mean, I don't know. I want to see some. Number one, I want to see some skulls split. Logan needs to be presented as a villain not to mess with. I mean, I get it, right? They're probably setting up why he's going to be so vicious because they've got, beef and they left him and blah, 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 blah. But I mean, like next episode, they should be sitting there talking and Luciana should go out straight up Axel style, just talking and bullet right through the freaking brain. Take out somebody else too. I actually don't dislike June. I've seen June getting some hate. I don't not like June. She's kind of like, I feel like she's this show's Carol in a way, not quite as vicious or whatever.
Too.
A little bit, but like let June and John be sitting there talking, and all of a sudden a bullet just whizzes right through June's head. And let's see John come unhinged. I'm getting tired of him supposed to be this, despite all the bad things that happens, he's just a happy-go-lucky optimist. No, I want to see John get, taken by this world. You know what I mean? I want to see him out for blood. And
yeah, he's too Opie Taylor.
Right. Imagine someone with his capabilities actually, like, out for blood. You know how badass it'd be? Like John Wick in the apocalypse. That's what I need to see. I need to see Morgan start kicking some damn ass and stop trying to give people pep talks. I mean, at this point in the apocalypse, Morgan is just a glorified high school guidance counselor, traveling the world trying to talk people into the right thing. All life is precious. We know, Morgan. Oh, my God. Even though I don't think he's actually said that in a while, but he does with his messages.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's teaching Alicia the stick. Great. That's what we need. One of his badass attributes is he can whip your ass with a stick. But you know what? Let's just continue to keep giving that ability to other characters and then wonder why people lose interest in Morgan.
I don't know what's going to happen, man, but I hope something interesting happens. Just some interesting writing would be great. And,
I know what's going to happen. They're going to cancel the damn show if they don't actually start writing it worth a damn, because ain't nobody going to be watching it.
We know it got renewed for one more season. I could see that being the swan song where they merge whatever they're going to keep from that show into the regular show or the Rick movie or whatever. I don't know, but
keep Daniel, keep Strand, keep Alicia, keep John Dory. I don't really care about the rest.
Yeah.
These are characters that I feel like if they were written with, and Angela Kang's writing staff at the helm, could be really, really good. And plus, I want to see them in some dark scenarios. They have been, but here lately, it's just been like the adventures of Morgan and friends. Now, remember, kids, all life is precious.
I think Madison is going to return, and I think it's really going to take things back to that level where it had been.
I hope, man, because we've seen Madison get a lot of hate just in our comment section, but you and I both like Madison.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I thought she was a good character. I like Kimberly Dickens, the lady that plays her. I very much enjoyed her being on the show, and I would love to see her and Morgan button heads over how to handle things, because, she was becoming kind of like the female Rick. Like, she just was, if she had to take you out, she was going to take you out. She would do whatever she had to make sure that her kids were safe, including clonking one of our favorite characters in the Walking Dead franchise ever in the back of the head. I really like Troy. Like, you shouldn't like Troy, but I like Troy. Like, he just was that character you never knew if you should be. Like, they wrote him so well, it was like at some point you were rooting for him and you felt guilty because you felt like you shouldn't be rooting for this guy, but you just like him. Him and Nick had great chemistry.
What do you think's going to happen when Madison finds out that Charlie killed Nick?
Hopefully she'll kill her.
I think that
no, I don't want a little kid to die, but I mean, that's the kind of gritty, like, I don't know, at least maybe she'll like try to kill her and her and Morgan will get into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's have some intergroup beef here. Like this in the apocalypse, how many friends would stop being friends over stuff? Like, let's have Madison come back when she sees Alicia and she's like, where's Nick? And then of course, she gets the story and she straight up tries to like murder Charlie, and then Morgan interferes, and then the group kind of divides and maybe even kind of starts having a little drama and going back and forth. Like, let's develop some real gritty stuff here,
Yeah, I think Victor and Daniel and Alicia will obviously splinter off and follow Madison.
Right, and then you're going to have
Morgan and John and June
are going to follow, Morgan and the trucker
Charlie
girl.
And the truckers, pretty much all the characters that came in and ruined the show.
So which characters do you think it is that came in and ruined the show?
All the new ones. And they're characters that should have made it better, but Morgan and John Dory, characters I like, but they just brought them in and watered down this edgy group that was doing all this bad
That's
stuff.
true, yeah. I want to see John Dory doing some bad. Like I said, man, let's kill June and get an unhinged John. That's what I want, an unhinged John Dory. I mean, I don't want him to go straight bad guy route, but I just want to see him back. Like, let's say this war with Logan, if they would actually write it out to be a war, ends up getting June killed. I would love to see John on the battlefield just going crazy,
Well, now that she's got a wedding ring on her finger, man, I don't think she's going to survive this season.
You don't think so? So you think June's definitely a goner this season?
Engagement ring, yeah, I think she's a goner. And, I'd like to see her and Luciana taken out. Luciana would splinter off with Madison, too, of course. And,
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Luciana would stick with Al, and I think Al's going to stick with Morgan and them.
Possible.
In this scenario that they'll never do, because that would be too interesting.
Well, Madison is coming back. I feel that. I know that's going to happen.
So you think Madison's for sure coming back?
I'd bet every dollar in my life that she's coming back.
So you think Madison is coming back? And I mean, like, if they did, that's an interesting conversation, though. If they were to divide up, who do you think would go? You think you would have... I think you would have Strand, Daniel, which is weird because Alicia and Charlie are kind of, close. But let's just say they split up to take Madison away from Charlie to keep her safe. You probably would have Strand, Alicia, Madison. Who else do we say? You think Luciana would go with them?
Yes.
I feel like Luciana probably would stay with Al. But then on the other side, you would have Al, Morgan, maybe Luciana. We don't know. Al, Morgan, John Dory, June, and then the trucker lady and the guy in the wheelchair.
Right.
Like, I just don't care for that trucker lady. I don't know. It just
I don't
feels
either,
too
man.
fake. It feels too cliche, if that makes any sense. Like all truckers wear the trucker hats and they talk like this, Jimbo. We got Jimbo. Like, I know lots of I actually know several truck drivers. One of my best friends in the world is a truck driver, and he is not talk or act like that at all. You know what I'm saying?
Jimbo?
No, they don't call me Justin Bo. We're gonna I actually think he hates the song Convoy. You know what I mean? It's just she's written too, like you say sometimes, too on the nose. Like it's just too. You got a trucker, so they got to fit that trucker profile. Because I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Let's let the war take her. I don't mind the guy in the wheelchair because that presents something new with all the little gadgets and stuff he's got. But at the end of the day, we don't really get enough time with him to decide if we like where's he at during all this? Just chilling in the back of the truck?
Well, I think he's like they had like the all the refugees were in like a convoy, like
that's
a
right, yeah,
kind of thing.
I mean, we didn't even see him with
them.
them. I don't think. I'd have to go back and rewatch it. It could have been like he was sitting off screen or something, or maybe I was zoned out for a minute. Was a little bored on this. A little bored.
Yeah, it's but I think basically Madison's been out there having to do some things, some dark, some weird stuff to survive, having to go back into survival mode, her morals are set on the back burner, and I think she's going to kind of drag Victor Strand and Daniel and Alicia back to that dark place, and, that's what they're going to be faced with. The person they love, but regressing back to who they were, or, stick with the Charlie Manson Morgan, who eventually is going to dose everyone with LSD and get them to murder some people.
I don't see that.
But
I want to like Morgan again. Dwight. Do we know Dwight's going to go with Morgan? I don't know, man. You got so much potential here, and you're just doing nothing with it.
Yeah, dude, they really screwed the pooch on some great characters.
Like, I mean, at what point would you not just bring in, like, season 9 of The Walking Dead? I don't know what the ratings look like. Some people hated it. You and I both loved it. I feel like the overall consensus was that it was pretty good. People that I know personally who were getting really bored in seasons, 7 and 8. I remember one of my buddies was like, kind of got to the point where he's like, man, they need to do something. I love The Walking Dead, but it's getting so slow. He even loved season 9. He's like, dude, I thought this season was great. Like every episode, it just, it was just kind of just stuff happening nonstop, And,
yeah, man. With that season 9, I would be so pissed if I was Lenny James. Like they finally get that show back on track, and now they send me down here to this train wreck. I would be so mad if I was him. He should have just got his own little spin-off show and just left Fear alone, let it play out as it was playing out. And, I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer
We could have had Morgan and Dwight together and just called it Morgan and D.
Yeah.
It's you and me and Morgan and D. Doom. Make it like a sitcom.
It'd be better than the bad sitcom they got
Dwight,
now.
did you take the trash out?
Oh, brother.
I sent her home 10 minutes ago. Talking about the just the old 90s sitcom banner. But yeah, I don't know, man. I want to like the show. I don't want to be on here trashing it. I want to be on here giving it good reviews and like just talking about how much I love it. But I'd be lying if that was the case.
They got a lot to work on.
Maybe this war with Logan will change things. Look, you were talking about spoiling me. Let's see. Let me look through and see if there's anything else worth still talking about.
Is Scott Gimple the reason for a lot of this stuff?
I guess they did show. Maybe did they show Wendell? I feel bad that I didn't see Wendell. Keep in mind too, I had a crying baby to tend to while I was watching this.
While she was crying, she didn't like Fear the Walking Dead either.
Pretty much, she was pretty fine until it came on. Yeah, I don't know how. Let me see.
She's like, Daddy, I'd rather watch The Boys again.
That was great. I had to cover her eyes a lot for that though. The Boys was great.
Oh, dude, I loved it so much.
That was great.
I'm so stoked for season 2.
I had a friend said he watched an episode or two and just could not get into it. Actually, it was our good friend James.
Well, that's someone you don't need to be friends with anymore.
He was like, I got through the second episode. I couldn't do it. It was terrible. I said, The Boys was terrible? I thought The Boys was great. This is...
What he didn't like about it?
I don't know. He just didn't like it. I'm going to tell him that you said that you are, I'm sorry, I keep yawning. And just keep thinking about the episode, trying to find something. Yeah. Every time I replay it in my brain, I yawn.
No, you tell old James I'm going to tend his field. He don't start thinking a little better.
Tell him you're going to tend his field. I don't know exactly how he's going to take that.
He likes Game of Thrones. I know that, so he doesn't have awful taste in medias.
He likes Into the Badlands.
Well, that show was fine. It's not like a show. Oh man, you watch Into the Bad? It's not like a water cooler show. I did like the first season I watched. I don't know what to think of this guy, man. I was watching the original like '90s X-Men cartoon Saturday morning. Dude.
I saw that on your Snapchat.
Yeah, man. I back in the day at a Comic-Con, I bought a bootleg bundle of the entire series. And I've only got like 2 or 3 discs left, but man, it was so great.
That's so great. Nice. That was a good that and the 90s Spider-Man I loved.
Oh, yeah. They both came out of Fox Kids, man. Beautiful stuff. I used to have all that stuff on my laptop.
The 90s Spider-Man actually was pretty faithful to the comics at certain points.
Oh, yeah. As was the X-Men show, man. Chris Claremont's run just, oh, man, it was so beautiful.
Yeah, I very much enjoy that, but as you can tell, we're getting off topic because we just really don't. So let us know what you think of Fear in the Bottom. If you think it's great and we're missing the bigger picture, please paint it for us so that we can start to enjoy it. What do you think? If you're with us and you think the show's getting stale and boring and headed towards an inevitable cancellation, what do you think they could do to spice things up? If someone was to be like, hey, I want you to help me write this show to get it back on track. What do you think needs to happen? I think they number one need to get to the brutality and just grittiness of The Walking Dead for one. Well,
man, the powers that be maintain that the Walking Dead universe on television, film, what have you, is still in its infancy, and it's going to be a major black eye to the franchise should they have to straight up cancel this series. So
right.
They really need to think about their legacy and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I wish they would, but right now they're not. I don't seem they are, and I don't know. So what needs to happen to get this back on track? Do you want to rate this episode? We hadn't rated it.
I don't think it's worth rating, to be honest. I didn't like it. I mean, I'll just be straight up with you. I didn't like it.
I didn't either, man. I really...
I love Victor Strand. I love a lot of the characters, but it's not a good show right now.
No, hopefully that'll change. In
my opinion, that's it. In my opinion.
But let us know what you think about it, what needs to happen, yada, yada, yada. We'll definitely be back next Monday to talk about the next episode, which maybe will be good, maybe not, but we'll see. It's already been filmed, so it's not like they can look at what we think about episode 9 and keep going, so... But we'll talk about that. Don't forget, this week we'll have our, we'll be talking about the Epstein thing on Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to go deep into that. Part
of our conspiracy cast. We'll also have something up for current events tomorrow. Thursday is mail call, and we'll actually have a Patreon exclusive podcast up at some point this week.
At some point we will. Are we going to start releasing the paranormal podcast?
We are. That'll start on Friday. Patreons will get it this Friday, and then non-patrons will get it next Friday. So basically, once it starts, though, patron or not, you'll get one per week. You know what I'm saying? So, patrons will get it this Friday, and then the following Friday, we'll put it on our regular channels. And then from there, we'll start releasing them. So if you enjoy it, just know that there'll be one out every week for at least 5 or 6 weeks. So.
Now, are you going to release them in the order in which they were recorded?
I don't know. My stories from my personal experiences were a little bit more sinister, kind of not scary, but darker. Jesse's weren't really dark at all, and neither were Andrew's. So what I might do to keep the I don't want to say scariness because I don't think these are going to keep you up at night, but to keep like the tone kind of, I might release like the real first one, then throw in like Jesse's, and then throw in Matt Crowder's. And then throw in Andrews. You know what I'm saying? So you get kind of dark, light.
When are we going to get old Dan Ashdown on the phone?
We need to work that up, so we can maybe conclude with him. It'd be so cool to have a listener be the finale of that.
Yeah, dude. And my buddy on Periscope, Slim Fella, he's got some spooky stories. It's just a matter of getting him on the horn as well because he's in Louisiana. But
that's where I was born.
Yeah, a lot of supernatural stuff goes down in Cajun
down in the bayou.
Yeah, a lot of witchcraft down there. A lot of spooky stuff.
Get you some gumbo down at the bayou.
I've never tried gumbo.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good.
Depends on who fixes it.
And I actually have more information about the voodoo going around town that we need to cover in some kind of podcast.
Well, I want to hear it, but
yeah, if you're on the Patreon page, there's some exclusive content, and we're exploring an old Civil War era cemetery, and we found some evidence of voodoo rituals, and I've actually found further evidence around town, in my neighborhood especially. There's a growing Haitian community, and so we can definitely talk about that at some point.
Man, that's awesome. So all of that to come here on the Podcasting Dead. Don't forget, I don't know where you're listening or watching this, but we are on YouTube, we're on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, soon to be iHeartRadio, should be on Podbean this week. So lots of different ways to listen and to even watch if you want to. So we hope to get this to video podcast status here in the next couple of months. And don't forget about our Patreon. Just go to patreon.com, search for the Podcasting Dead. Any little bit helps, whether you're $1 a month, $1 one time, or, however much. Every little bit helps because we're trying to build up some money so we can make some sweet swag to turn around and give back to you.
Yeah, dude. I want stickers. I want hats, T-shirts,
bandanas,
flags.
You think anybody would fly our flag?
I think so, yeah.
Just have a flag waving in their yard?
The main thing I want, dude, because we have a worldwide community, I want to see some Walking Dead merch in Venezuela, in Portugal.
Say that again?
In Portugal.
No, say the other
South Africa.
Say Venezuela
England.
again.
Venezuela.
Okay. Why do you put that on that, but you don't put the accents on any of the others?
Dude, I want to see it in Hawaii.
I don't think that they talk like Hawaii. Come see us in beautiful tropical Hawaii.
Well,
Is Pauly Shore promoting Hawaii now? Come on down to Hawaii, bruh.
You've never went native, man. You gotta go
You've never
native.
been to Hawaii.
I've never been there, nah. But I have went native.
You don't know that I've never gone native. You don't know me. You don't know what I be doing when we ain't on this podcast.
It's just like I say, don't hassle me. I'm local. You see what I'm saying?
Why do you say that?
Because I don't want to get hassled. People thinking I'm a tourist and all this stuff. I ain't no tourist.
Well, maybe one day you can take your buddy
Anywhere I
Pauly
go,
Shore
I'm
and y'all can go
tourist,
visit
man.
some Hawaii, bruh.
I'm a member of the human family, man. Wherever I go, I'm embraced.
All right, let's cut Morgan off there and wrap this up. But don't forget to check us out all over the place. We'll catch you again tomorrow. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.